We are now on the back of the worksheet, and so I'm going to get started with number 5 for you right now. In isosceles triangle RST, RS equals ST, which equals 6. So you need to know some things about isosceles triangles, and since you came out of geometry, you should know isosceles triangles have two congruent sides, which lead to two congruent base angles. So I know that I'm going to draw it like so. And if RS equals ST, and they both equal 6, kind of get the impression that S belongs up at the top, and R and T are at the bottom. These are your two congruent sides. They're both labeled with a 6. If the measure of the vertex angle, now once again, folks, not drawn to scale, I have a tendency to draw my diagrams before I read the entire problem, which is not good. But the items should be placed in the right order in your triangle so that you know exactly what you're working with and what formula to use. So the vertex angle is actually that angle that's at the top. It's neither one of those two congruent base angles, so that's 150. And right there we have our two sides and our angle in between. So K equals 1/2 6 times 6 times the sine of 150. And once again, you go right into your calculator. I like to do 0.5 times 6 times 6 sine 150. And when I hit enter, I get 9 as my final answer. Okay, and that is example number 5. Okay, at the end of this portion of the worksheet, once again, the video will be paused and you'll be able to copy down your work. So if you want to copy it down while I'm working or just wait until the end, you can do that. Or a little bit of both would probably be best. Okay, number 6, a rhombus. So we're getting to see a whole bunch of shapes here. Good review from last year. A rhombus is a square that's been shifted. So 4 congruent sides, opposite angles that are congruent. This is rhombus PQRS. So I'm going to label that here, PQRS. The length of each side is 8. And I know that angle PQR is 30. I'm asked to find the area of this rhombus. Well, once again, the formula is for the area of a triangle. And just like the parallelogram, a rhombus is nothing more than two congruent triangles. So you could find the area of one triangle, and then think about that for a second. What would we have to do to find the area of the entire rhombus? We would have to multiply by 2. So let's find the area of the triangle first. It's 1/2 8 times 8 times the sine of 30. I'm going to pop that into my calculator real quick. And I'm going to find out that that's 16. But that's just for this triangle right here. So I'm going to take 16 and I'm going to multiply it by 2, and that gets me the area of the rhombus. And then we're done. All right, let's take a look at number 7 now. This one's interesting because they give you the area of triangle CAP, and that's 75. So I'm just going to write that down as one of my knowns. They want us to find sine of A, knowing what the two sides are. So once again, you could draw this if you really want to, just to get a visual. Triangle CAP. Little c, once again, is the side that sits opposite angle C. Little p is the side that sits opposite angle P. And the sine of A, that's the angle in between the two. So it makes sense, that's what we're working with. So area is equal to 1/2 the two sides, the product of course, and then sine of A. This is what we're trying to get by itself. So I know that 1/2 of 20 is 10. 10 times 30 is 300. And then I bring down everything else. And my final step here, folks, is divide everything by 300. I got to get that sine of A by itself. And then what happens is, if you end up reducing this, this ends up being 1/4. So sine of A is equal to 1/4. You could write that as 0.25 as well. They don't specify what your answer needs to be left in, so you'd be done. Okay, so it's weird. Sometimes they don't give you the angle. Sometimes they want the angle. Sometimes they want the sine of the angle. That's one of the things that we're going to work on in this chapter, and we're going to be aware of. All right, last example. Find to the nearest degree the measure of the acute angle of a triangle between two sides of measure 10 and 15. So here's 10 and 15 if the area is 50. So we're working backwards again. They want the angle in between the 10 and the 15, so I'm going to label that with an X. Area equals 1/2 the two sides and the sine of the angle in between. Okay. I know that 1/2 of 10 is 5. I know 5 times 15 is 75. So I get 50 is equal to 75 sine of x. I know I have to get sine of x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 75. Okay, I got to make sure I don't go off the screen here. I know that that ends up being 2/3. And I know, once again, if I don't have the angle but I have the answer, I have to work backwards. And working backwards in the calculator is second sine of 2/3. So if you do second sine, once again, I'm doing this off to the side in the calculator. You can't see it because I don't want to block the work. But second sine of 2/3, and they want it to the nearest degree, you get 41.81, but to the nearest degree, folks, it's 42. And that's your answer for number 8. Okay, let me slide that up a little bit so you can see it. And at this point, we can pause the video, and you can copy down any work that you missed. Okay, your homework tonight is in the textbook. I am here today, so it's written on the back board. I came in and just to make sure that you did that. Okay, we're looking at a quiz this Friday, and I will talk to you about it tomorrow when I see you. Hope you enjoyed my video. I'm going to have the sub hand out a sheet to you right now that gives you QR codes that will forward you to my website where these videos are posted. You're more than welcome to watch them as many times as you want. Sorry I didn't put any funny jokes. But I didn't want you to send it to your friends and make fun of me. But I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned from it, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.